So glad the weather's changed. I can't remember the last time we actually all sat here and had time to eat together or even, you know, have a conversation together. It's all been so busy, you know. I've got to be at work though, because I can't play with y'all. So I'm go ahead and just break these down. Just
your daddy would kill us.
Yeah, I know, man. Just go ahead and get it out the way.
The easiest way to break up your pancakes.
I'm just glad.
My hands are clean though, but
I'm just glad nobody says no Instagram, no nothing like that. All right. Nobody says this.
Only at home.
This was something that we learned when we were younger, about being wild and young together and wanting to hurry up and just eat.
We were so excited to eat hotcakes and sausage. That was probably one of our favorite items. And I would actually try to beat Joe to be the first one done, so we didn't have to help each other clean up. But you know, that was probably the fastest way to get to it, being one of our favorite items there.
Our dad would kill us then, but
and Russian play video games.
Yeah.
Temptations.
Decorating the Christmas tree or running away from decorating the Christmas tree.
I couldn't stand helping each other decorate the Christmas tree. That was one of my pet peeves. Like, I hated doing that. Me and Joe would try to hide from Bridget and run away. Bridget would be the first person to try to snitch on us, go downstairs, tell mama and daddy, you know, first thing where we're hiding at. They're in the game room upstairs. And I knew it was time to do the Christmas tree or even do the decorations when that Temptations Christmas music came on. I can still hear it. When it gets cold outside, I can still hear it. Just even on Magic 102, Quiet Storm, I can hear it. Yeah, Quiet Storm.
That's a good throwback. Yeah. We'd always break the ornaments too. They were the glass ones. They weren't plastic ones, so they always break them, and we'd have to clean that up too.
Clean it up or try to hide it under something.
The other traditions was helping my mother cook downstairs, for whether it be Thanksgiving or Christmas. That was one of the things we didn't like doing, cleaning out turkey.
Well, I actually like doing it. I was the sweet potato masher, so I was open the cans of yams. That was my job.
The only thing that me and Jordan liked doing was with the cakes, because we got to put
lick
the bowl and put our finger.
That really wasn't helping.
That wasn't helping.
We still like doing it anyway. We got a chance.
Anytime that pot came out, that's when we went around it, because we knew we got to lick the bowl.
Yeah, that was probably the best when it came to cooking. But cleaning the pots and pans, helping cook, that probably wasn't one of the favorites. You know, at least for the boys. You know, I think being triplets, we did a lot together. But you know, being two boys, one girl. You know, me and Joe. You know, I think we would, you know, do a lot outside that Bridget didn't want to do. But sometimes Bridget,
I played with y'all though.
Yeah, Bridget,
and stuff.
Yeah.
They got me into all the gross stuff.
All the gross stuff, all the manly things.
Yeah,
I think
we played sports like kickball. She would always want to go against us, and it'll be
one on two. You know, while we're talking about that, though, one of the funniest memories was playing kickball outside, and Bridget was always the boss. You know, and I know Joe remembers this. I know you remember that one. You already know where I'm going. This one kickball game, Bridget had lost, and I think she was a little bit upset that she had lost.
It was 2 against 1.
It was 2 against 1, and she always wanted to be the boss. She pushed Joe into a black gate, and Joe had black paint on his teeth. We were actually the ones that got in trouble because we were playing 2-on-1 against Bridget,
even though
girl,
she pushed me,
the baby sister.
They were also teasing me too, though, but they don't want to tell y'all that part. I think people take for granted having a full house. As the older we've gotten, a lot of people that you meet and work with didn't come from large families, so it's just kind of like we've always had fun. There was never a dull moment. Always had somebody to fight with.
Well, that came up twice.
Yeah.
Fights,
always fight.
When we turned 16, because we're triplets, you know, us being triplets, you know, most people, you know, in the world think when you're 16, you're going to get that car, and you're going to get that car that you want. Definitely being so close to each other. We definitely didn't want to share one car because we all had
that wasn't happening.
So we fought for that for the longest about not having to share one car.
We all rode with different crowds, and of course, you know, she's a girl. She didn't want to do the things we wanted to do, but it was crazy in Houston.
It's
That was it snowed.
I just remember waking up and looking out the window and seeing all
three black cars covered in snow.
So, right.
You know.
True blessing, because a lot of people didn't get cars at our age. So.
But that was definitely an unforgettable Christmas / birthday, because our birthday rolled over and we thought, well, maybe we're not getting cars, and maybe we're just gonna get one car for Christmas, and we were just so worried. I was praying,
and our parents played it like we weren't going to get any kind of car that year.
And get them down the street too, like 3 houses down.
Yeah,
at the Archery.
Right, I remember that.
It was very, very, I would say, routine. You know, there were certain routines, like, you know, that we talked about with, you know, setting up Christmas trees, dinner times, you know, all of the family being there at once, you know, whether it be, you know, way back in the past or it being now, you know, even now, all the kids have to be there. All the significant others have to be there. You know, he wants all family there at all one time. It was routine. It actually helped me build a routine for myself, you know, especially when it came to the holidays, you know, and I appreciated him for that. He was also very, very giving, you know, whether you deserved it or not. You know, there were times, you know, where I felt, you know, I might have scratched myself off the Christmas list, but, you know, there were, you know, he still came through for us, and it was to show you, you know, that he cared. You know, when I say that it wasn't materialistic, he was always reminding us that it wasn't materialistic. I do this out of love because I love you. You know, it's not, I want to get you everything you put on this list right here. It was always, you know, to me, you know.
I think it also stemmed from, too, of like his upbringing and not being able to have that with his family, that he ensured that we would always have that. And I think the structured part is like for us to go instill with our families, as you have your family now, me and Joe will have ours hopefully soon one day. Yeah, we'll get married and have some kids too. But that structure, that foundation though, just it creates this environment that you want to continue on to. So,
and it was, to me, it was always his time to shine, because it was always my mother who cooked for us every day.
Right.
Thanksgiving, Christmas. That was his time to shine. That's when he got the kitchen to himself, and
that was his time. He is a baker. He's a barbecuer, a griller, and he loves cooking a turkey. And that was times, you know, I forget about it or you let it go by the wayside. But there was times, you know, he said, you know, I'm gonna cook this. You know, my mother's name is Daphne. He would say, Daph, just go sit down. You know, go in there with the kids. You know.
My dad is he's a cooker, but he doesn't like to cook. He leaves it to my mom. So when he does have spur moments, he makes some really good oxtails. Really good.
I would probably say the ham. He could. I mean, the ham is about as big as the turkey.
But the ham comes from it's pre-made.
But the way he seasons it and the way he preps it and cooks it, I like the ham. And then he has to actually, he goes in, he turns into a chef, starts slicing. You can't touch it until it's ready by him for it to be served. I like that.
He also, speaking of serving, he has to serve himself before everybody else, so you can't eat before he gets his plate. Yeah. That's a big no-no too.
I mean, he cooks so much, so, you know, there's so many people in the house during holidays that, you know, there's mild chicken, there's spicy chicken, there's, you know, seasoned turkey, there's white meat, dark meat, they've got red beans and rice, just rice, dirty rice, corn, seasoned corn. So, you know, he has to let you know, hey, over here to the left is, you know, this portion, over here to the right, but let me grab my portion. And then, you know, it's so many kids and so many adults in the house at that time. You know, I feel it, you know, if it was my house, I'm going to do the same thing. Hey, before everybody starts ravaging through these plates and then you don't eat it all, let me get my portion and then go ahead and serve yourself.
I think as we were like younger kids growing up, it was kind of just like a thing that was instilled in us. Kind of back then, of course, you know, a lot of people weren't talking about fast food and stuff. So nowadays, growing up, it was just kind of like this was something that was instilled in us. We grew up with it. It was just kind of like this is all we knew was McDonald's. This was business. This was money. This is, you know, the job that my dad had. And it was kind of like we would actually go work in the stores. I would work in the office, do all the paperwork and filing. But it kind of instilled that business sense of like, him showing us his passion and kind of like, what are we going to be passionate for? Where do we see ourselves, and what are we going to do with our lives? In that nature. So.
And see, with me, my brother, us being the boys, and us always wanting to follow in our dad's footsteps from everything he did, from the way he walked.
I remember I didn't mean to cut you off. We used to, as little boy, man, maybe like 4 or 5 years old, we would put these blazers on, these matching blazers, these almost lime green blazers. We would go sit down with my old man's briefcases. We didn't know what was in there. We couldn't even get in there. They had locks. Locks on. But we would go sit downstairs in the living room and conduct fake business meetings. We had no idea what we were talking about.
But it was funny because we used to see him do that, so we would always do that, and we would. And
we
it's
knew
funny.
It was something serious going on. We knew it was something business oriented.
Right. Yeah. And it was funny because it's crazy to say because we used to play with the paperwork that we're working with now.
And that's so crazy. That's so crazy because, growing up in McDonald's, one thing that was always important was, he gave us an opportunity. Whether, my sister, my older siblings, whether they wanted to be in there or not, my father there was always a home base for you. As long as he was able to, as he says, as long as I'm still breathing, there's always going to be that opportunity there for you.
It's an opportunity people don't get either.
Yeah,
people grow up and their parents are in different career fields, and
it's not an easy one.
Yeah.
We learned that. Me and my brother took on, I call it behind the counter. In high school, actually seeing what goes on behind the counter, and even seeing what it's like actually being a crew person is different for you to understand what the big boss is doing. Your father. When you're seeing it and he comes home and the light switch hits and he's daddy. But, when you're seeing it across the counter and he's boss man, it's a completely different thing. I remember going to college and he had a conversation with all of us. And I'll never forget this conversation. It was at this same round table, and it happened so fast. He said, hey, man, next 4 years, next 4.5 years is going to fly by so fast for you. I want you to think about what you want to do today.
We laughed too. We're like,
and we laughed at him. We were like, okay. Yeah, we were like, okay, 4 years, all right. And I mean, it snapped so quick. When I remember coming back, having this, goal in my head, hey, I want to be an owner operator. And even then, working behind the counter, I thought, I'm going to come back and I'm gonna be a manager and I'm going to take over the store. I didn't know the amount of time and energy and work that you had to put into it, sacrifice, dedication. I thought, I'm daddy's son. I'm gonna come in here and point the finger. I'm the boss. And it's not like that. And I appreciate him for not, painting that picture for me and my brother that, hey, this is gonna be easy and it's laid out for you. I think with him, the way that he was raised and came up and had to, sacrifice to get that opportunity, I think for him to place me and my brother in that same position was a blessing. Because we would probably be blinded by the reality of the business if he didn't put us in that position the way he did. Happy holidays from the Moss Triplets.